So I was looking around on the internet and I found a story I wanted to talk about. So anyway, I'm going to show you some of the clip from this video where a restaurant is charging a bad parent fee. I thought this would be something interesting to talk about. So I'm going to show a little bit about this clip and then I'm going to talk about it.
A North Georgia restaurant going viral on social media for having what's called a parent surcharge on their menu.
This is pretty interesting. The charge, according to the restaurant, is for adults who can't parent their children. Atlanta News First reporter Amanda Rose spoke to the restaurant today on Aska Road in Blue Ridge after a bad online review sparked a national conversation.
I've never left a review in my life of a business. When I left there, we were leaving reviews.
You could just see the anger in his face. He just looks so serious. He literally looks like you just walked up to him and just spit in his face. He looks that pissed off. I love how confident he is about, I've never left a review before, but this time, oh, we're leaving reviews. Like he's got all this power and all that. It's pretty funny. It reminds me of that South Park episode where the Yelpers think they have more power than they actually do.
Lowe is still in disbelief after what he calls a nightmare experience at Toccoa Riverside Restaurant in Blue Ridge.
Really? A nightmare? You consider that a nightmare? I don't know what to tell you.
Blue Ridge. The restaurant now gaining national attention for one-star reviews left by Carciolo's friends online, who say the
Nice fucking job. You gave him publicity because you and your friends decided to go and put one-star reviews on his website, further bringing more attention and advertisement to the restaurant. See, I know there's two sides to a story, and maybe to be fair, the owner was being a little bit unreasonable. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just the thought process of thinking everyone thinks like me. So to give them publicity, just thinking everyone has the same mindset as me when that's not true. There's lots of people, which, it's kind of ridiculous, I'll admit, that can't stand children whatsoever. And, I get kids are going to be kids. Of course, you got to parent them. Don't make sure they don't get too out of control and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, kids are going to be kids. And a restaurant has the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason. Now, how bad these kids were being, I have no idea. But from how the parent acts, I kind of got an idea of how they act, which is probably entitled.
restaurant wanted them to pay extra for bad parenting.
He basically said he has raised his children, he's not going to raise ours.
Carciolo.
And I understand that, but the thing of it is, the difference is you're at his place of business. Just like, you can't go into someone else's house and make the rules. They're not necessarily trying to raise your kids. You're just disturbing the customers and the way this guy makes his living.
A restaurant owner who lives in Central Florida says 5 families, including his own, visited the restaurant on vacation with 11 children, all under the age of 8. After finishing their meal, Carciolo says someone from the restaurant made a surprise visit to their table, saying the group should pay a parent surcharge. The fee is listed on the restaurant's menu next to $3 signs and the words "unable to parent." Carciolo says he thought it was a joke. The owner tells me he's had this parent surcharge on the menu since the pandemic, but he's never had to enforce it on any of his customers. He wants to emphasize that the charge is not for kids, but for adults who don't know how to pay.
Well, here is what my solution to this issue. Instead of having, just a bad parenting fee, adults can be unreasonable too. They can get too drunk and, so they should just have a universal, they should call it the fuckhead charge, meaning that you were being a fuckhead, so you get fined for being a dumbass and disturbing everybody. That way, it doesn't single this guy out to where he gets offended, then says it's a nightmare experience, like he's got trauma and stress from this event of someone telling them, maybe control your kids, don't let them act out in a restaurant. So, yeah, just have a fuckhead charge. And then someone rings a bell every time someone gets that charge. And everyone laughs, looks at them, laughs, and points. That's my solution.
Parent. The restaurant says they never charge Carciolo and the others the fee, but they told us the group had to be, quote, really bad for them to bring it up at all. A representative for the restaurant went on to say there's nothing wrong with kids and families coming to the restaurant, but kids running wild through the dining room isn't parenting. Carciolo.
Well, you see, that's kind of what leads me further to my point to think that the dad actually was in the wrong. So they had this bad parent fee since 2020. And this was made a few weeks ago. So that's over 2 years. And they said it has to be really bad for something to even, for this to even be considered. So the first one out of 2 years, this is kind of showing that maybe the dad really wasn't doing the job he should have. So the kids are running all over the place. Why not take them outside? Let them run around somewhere outside. Obviously, maybe not in the parking lot. Maybe go for a short walk somewhere. I get the parking lot, yeah, there's cars, but I'm sure there's somewhere where you can go outside. All the kids have a lot of energy. Take them outside. Let them run, play around. And then when they're done, they'll be wore out, come back inside, sit down, everything's great. But no, that requires being responsible.
Carciolo says all the kids were well behaved.
I don't suggest a family go there.
Well, I really could care less about your opinion, to be completely honest with you.
Like Lee Ellis tell us he drove over an hour away just to pay the restaurant a visit.
I think it's a good thing, and I came because of it.
Drove an hour and a half. That's how fed up people are with not controlling their kids, that this guy is willing to go an hour and a half to the restaurant to support them. So this whole stunt this guy had just seemed to have failed completely on him. He gave the restaurant publicity and basically free advertisement. So he actually helped them. That restaurant should be thanking them. Here's something else I did want to mention. So here's another 1-star review. Maybe it's one of that guy's friends or whatever. But it says, don't go if you have children. And then the manager told her that you don't do that in a fancy restaurant. And I'm saying, of course, it's not a fancy restaurant. On the news, it doesn't look like a fancy restaurant. I'm not saying it is a fancy restaurant, but I went to their website, and as you can see, it actually looks a lot better than it did on the news. Like, here is the outside, it's near some woods. She looks a lot better than I thought it would. And as you can see, it's right by the river. You can eat and look at the river. And on the inside, they have the granite bar. Those are expensive. I know it's not like some fine dining place or anything like that, but I actually thought it looked decently nice in there compared to what I saw on the news. I just thought I'd make a mention of that. That's about it for me today. Please comment below your opinions on this topic, whether you agree or disagree with the bad parenting charge fee. Please subscribe to the channel if you are interested in hearing more from me. I've had this YouTube channel for a while and posted a few videos. None of them have my voice in it, so I decided to change things up again and start making commentary videos. So I would appreciate a lot if you could subscribe, like the video, do all that, and have a good rest of your day or evening. Thanks. Peace out.